Parashat Vayeitzei. Yaakov journeys to Lavan's house and is confronted for the first time with the world of Arami. The introduction to the Haggadah. The storyline in the Haggadah of Pesach starts with this particular junction in history. Arami oved avi. Vayered mitzrayma vaygorsham mimetei me'at. Curiously, Baal Haggadah uses a Hebrew verb that seemingly is completely inappropriate. The term is Arami oved avi. Oved is in present tense. Why would the Baal Haggadah put the verb in present tense as opposed to Arami ibed avi? In fact, perhaps he should have said Arami nisa le'abed avi. He tried to do it. Was Lavan successful? Interesting question to ponder of. In order to answer this question properly and to understand the magnitude of the question, we need to take a careful look at Yaakov's maneuvers and actions throughout his experience traveling outside of Eretz Yisrael. In fact, the question for itself is quite outrageous. Is it possible that Lavan indeed was successful? I would argue that yes, he was very successful, and this is exactly what the author of the Haggadah is addressing. An issue that each and every one of us needs to address. If we start the journey with Yaakov setting out, we have to notice right away that his mission was quite simple. Here he is, sent by his parents to go out to Lavan's house, find a wife, and protect yourself until Esav is less angry at you, and then, of course, come back. In fact, his mother tells him she will send an emissary to go get him. Yaakov, in our parasha, journeys out to Lavan's house, where quietly omitted are 14 years. If you look at the last Rashi in the previous parasha, a very complex calculation leaves us to understand that 14 years elapsed unannounced, where Chazal tell us, for 14 years Yaakov hid himself in the Beit Midrash of Shem and Ever to sit and learn, to prepare himself for this difficult journey. When he sets out and has this miraculous dream with a ladder going up to the sky, and God having a discussion with him, Yaakov takes an oath. He vows that if indeed God will provide him with sustenance and with clothing, and stick with him throughout this journey, then he will return home and he will establish God as his one and only God, and work and devote his life in the service of God. So, he goes out on the journey with this promise from God that he will be well cared for. He gets to Lavan's house, and he confronts the first problem. He is penniless. He falls in love with his daughter Rachel right away, but he has no way to pay for her. So he makes a difficult commitment to work for 7 years in order to get Rachel. And as the story goes, he is duped, has to swear to work for another 7 years, and 14 long years elapse, during which he marries both of his wives and has the children that will be the building of the Jewish people. Finally, when Yosef is born, Yaakov turns to Lavan and says, "It is time for me to go. Rachel had a child. It is time for me to journey home." Lavan asks a simple question. What can I give you? How can I give you a gift for all the great time and service that you have provided me? Lavan was a sneaky guy. We know from the end of the story what Lavan's true intentions were. But Yaakov falls for it. Yaakov says, I don't want you to give me anything. I don't want you to say, I made Yaakov rich. Rather, Yaakov says, let me go and work the field. And they come up with a complex arrangement of how Yaakov is going to continue to shepherd the flock, and they will divide up the offsprings. And of course, Lavan time after time changes the deal on him, and no matter what Lavan tries to do, Yaakov is successful. And Yaakov grows more and more powerful, richer and richer. He becomes so wealthy and so powerful, in which the children of Lavan start becoming seriously jealous. And they say quite clearly, Yaakov took all of the riches from our father. And Lavan himself is changing his attitude, is no longer having such a smiley, friendly face towards Yaakov. The true question that has to be asked is, what was Yaakov doing? His parents are elderly. He doesn't even know if he'll merit to see them again. He has his wives. He has his children. Why is he still there? Why is Yaakov still in Lavan's house? Okay, so he needed to make sure that he had monetary strength. But by this point, he's a very wealthy, powerful man. What was Yaakov's plan? When was he planning on going home? Well, indeed, it is very possible that Yaakov completely forgot of his commitment. He became so caught up in the pursuit of monetary wealth that he no longer had an exit strategy. And here, finally, it takes a direct call from God. God turns to Yaakov and said quite clearly, Shuv el eretz avotecha ulemolotecha ve'heyeh imach. It is time to go home. What does Yaakov do? He summons Rachel and Leah to the field to him, and he tells them an entire story. You see how hard I work, and you saw how many times your father duped me and tricked me. You should know that when I was in the field, I had a dream. And he describes the dream in a very interesting way. I could see above me the polka dots and stripes and solid colors of the different sheep and goats flying over my head. And an angel came to me and says to me, lift your eyes and see all of these different flock that are behind me in front of you. The stripes, the solids, the polka dots. Ah, this is because I saw everything that Lavan was doing to you. I am the God that you anointed back in Beit El. I am the God in which you took a vow to. Now, get up and get out of this land and go back to your homeland. It is as if he is trying to say to Rachel, do you want to go back with me? But what is the Malach really saying to Yaakov? What the Malach is truly saying to him is, you think that you are such a successful farmer? You think that you were able to produce all of this success by yourself? Perhaps you forgot that I am the God that is giving you all of this. Perhaps you forgot that I am the God to which you made a commitment and you're not owning up to your commitment. Perhaps you forgot that your true destiny is to come back home. Of course, Rachel and Leah, as always, the women of Am Yisrael, clearly understood their responsibilities and without a moment's hesitation said, of course, we must go. We must get up and leave right now. We have nothing to look for over here. And indeed, Yaakov leaves on that journey. But if you follow Yaakov's life very carefully, you will see that this was a very difficult and hesitant move. Ultimately, the author of the Haggadah tries to highlight to us, Arami Oved Avi, in every single generation, the Jew in the diaspora that succeeds and flourishes is in great danger. He is in danger of losing himself in the pursuit of monetary strength and wealth, and forgetting what his true destiny is. It took a direct order from God to shake Yaakov up, and wives with the courage and fortitude to be able to push him to do the right thing. Shabbat Shalom.